Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochnek here on the eve of the third test between India and South Africa. Obviously, India won the first, South Africa won the second, and now a very important battle with Virat Kohli returning as captain. He looks like he's likely to take the place of Vihari, with people such as Ishant Sharma and Umesh Yadav battling out the other opening bowling position, of course, or first change, that is, for Mohammad Siraj, who looks like he's out, to join Shami and Bumrah. So it'll be probably Umesh Yadav, but it could be Ishant Sharma. Hello, Sumant Shastri and Shivari Gayatri, both of you joining me. The game's about roughly an hour away, so we'll hear the toss and team selections probably within half an hour. The ground, of course, is Cape Town, which is a magnificent ground there. Has the Wanderers has an incredible setting. Yes, Samantha, I think that India will create history, you would argue. With Kohli back, that's a major difference. He will be very much in charge. He'll command the best of his players. And I would argue that you'll probably see India do a lot better. Of course, they've got a great opening partnership in Rahul and Agarwal. Still, Shubman Gill's not there, and obviously Rohit Sharma. They're probably going to persist with Pujara and Rahane, although we expect more out of them. Virat Kohli himself, and then you'll have players like Rishabh Pant's on, you argue, his last legs a little bit. He has to get his act together. Ashwin's in great form, I think. Yeah, Ishan is very tall. And then, of course, Bumrah, Shami, both look the goods. And Umesh Yadav should do very well in South Africa. Or they may use Ishan Sharma. Of course, Shardul Thakur is quite a significant person for the purposes of that whole situation. He scores 70-odd runs. He gets 77 wickets. He's capable of anything, to be honest. Well, Australia's COVID situation isn't getting much better, nor is the US, nor is the world. A lot of discussion. Saha may come into play. Well, I don't know whether they're going to put him in for the last test, but we'll see. I doubt it because I don't have a feeling they're going to drop him. The South African side, however, will probably retain the same 11. Quinton de Kock's obviously gone. They've got the replacement keeper there, but the only change, well, if there's going to be any, maybe the bowling lineup, but I don't think there will be. I think they're going to keep their side. It's a winning one. They won the last test. Obviously, Dean Elgar's performance was 96. No, that was very similar. Good evening, Paul Newman. I was happy why Bangladesh defeated New Zealand in the first test. Yes, the second test, New Zealand came back quite strongly, and of course, we would have seen Ross Taylor take the last wicket with his little dibbly dobblers. I call them the little spin deliveries he was bowling. He took his third ever test wicket, the last wicket to fall the innings. Last wicket he will be getting, last ball he'll be bowling, and certainly hasn't been batting no longer as well. His test cricket is now over. Got a rounding report. It's a nice way to finish in New Zealand for him at Hagley Oval on Hagley Park. Sad to see Ross Taylor go. He was a great player. So you had your booster shot yesterday, you got pretty sick. Well, I'm going to have a booster shot on the 21st, so in 10 days' time. Yeah, but every man and his dog's got COVID at the moment, so let's see what 2022 brings. It's so far not been a great year, to be honest. Have I fully recovered? Well, I've got a message to say that I'm out of isolation. Now I'm no longer in the hotel. I'm out of isolation, but I'm waiting on my next and final test results. So what's my thoughts on Djokovic and Australia issue? Well, it was made pretty clear to me that Novak Djokovic issue was there was no reason why he couldn't get a visa into Australia, but there's a separate matter of getting entry. getting a visa and also getting entry, they're two different things. Now, you can have a visa, but when you go to enter the country, you've got to pass medical tests, medical qualification, you've got to have to be double vaccinated, those type of things. So, getting the visa was not the issue because the visa requirements, ironically, is not about the vaccination. The vaccination is a secondary or separate matter. So I obviously want him to play in the Australian Open because it'll be his 21st win. It'll be he'll making the most of it. Winning Grand Slam player. Look, if he's broken the law, if his visa's one thing which was easy to get, if it's his border entry card shows that he lied, then he could well be up for a 3-year deportation order. I mean, he can't enter for 3 years. That's a separate issue altogether. It's embarrassing for Australia, and it's embarrassing for the Australian Open and for sport and all of that. But he's done the wrong thing, and he's also apparently gone out and taken, been told that he's positive, and then the next day gone out and held posters and things for people and been in close contact with a whole lot of people, no mask and everything. So he lied on his border card, apparently. Yeah, he said that he hadn't been some of the last 40 days when he had. That's the issue, you see. You can't lie on those sorts of papers. You've got to tell the truth. You can't play games with those sort of things. Admittedly, he's a Grand Slam winning tennis tournament player, very famous. Serbia loves him to death. Obviously, Australia loves him to death too, but we think he's a great player. But then someone like Nadal very quickly was saying the rules are the rules, and they are the rules, let's be honest. I have no sympathy for him at all. I don't have any sympathy with him. He's lied. And when the entire complex of people watching, no one's allowed in unless they're vaccinated. They're not vaccinated, they're not allowed in. So how come the person center of attention in the middle of it all is allowed to? That's a bit inconsistent. Who is winning the third test? Emma Viner. You would have to think India, but South Africa showed in the second test that they were able to win. So trying to cut amongst the pigeons. Prediction is for the third test, who is winning 2-1? I think India. Your country's government lost against a Serbian guy. What will you say? It's not about him being Serbian. It's nothing. It's just the law. Yeah, Australia loves anyone sporting-wise, so he hasn't been bad to the country. So it's not. So based on the popularity stakes, he would have got through. But we wanted to get him through. But if he's not going to do the right thing, you can't just waltz in. So anyway, it's a hard one. It's a very, very hard one to work out exactly what's going on there. Anyway, 18 minutes to the toss, 18 minutes to selection of the players. He would have had no hope in hell getting into Western Australia than letting Australian Knights get in there. Yeah, so, well, it's not really it's a strange place we live in, there's no doubt about that. Bumashuk Rock here. Australian crowd mocking Stokes and Johnny Bairstow. Yeah, about their weight, which is a bit of a funny one, really. I mean, the pull-out made Bairstow a little bit chubby, but he's a great cricketer. Now the Australia has to bear all the costs for Djokovic's court case. Yes. It still has to be decided. There's apparently 3 or 4 hours there's a decision to be made. But I can't in fact, he probably will probably be playing now. So it's more of an issue of not about him playing, but more of an issue about the consistency of ruling, I guess. The whole thing's a debacle. Let's be honest. But the visa and the entry in Australia are two different things. It's raining heavily here in India, in Nagpur. Well, there you go. Well, South Africa, Cape Town. Cape Town's a beautiful spot. Baram may or may not as well. I'm not sure. He hasn't confirmed. This was Australian team changes for Hobart. Well, that's another discussion altogether. Every man and his dog's been putting larger in as the opener, and I think that sentiment's going to continue. I think that Australia will probably have Marcus Harris left out and Khawaja in, probably opening with Warner, followed by first drop, of course, is Labuschagne, Smith. Travis Head returns from his COVID period. Cameron Green deserves to stay, and then you'll have Alex Carey and then the bowlers as well. The bowlers at this stage will be Lyon, not Hazelwood. Cummins, of course. Then you'll have probably Stark and then Scott Boland, but it will be dependent on fitness for Scott Boland. It may well be Jai Richardson may come in, and also depends on Jai Richardson's fitness as well. Hardik Pandya is the captain of the team, in my view as well. Hardik Pandya probably won't play for India again, especially in the long format, the test format. So he's got to find a place, and he's going to earn loads of money doing that. So good on him. Weather is clear for Cape Town for 5 days. There we go. We're going to have a full test. Hi, Ray, PMB9. I know I'm constantly. So with Kylie coming in, who will go out? The Hari, probably. He was first out. Queenland's Platinum Jubilee. She's been in power for 70 years. Wow, that's a long time. So from the age of roughly 25 to now 95. We go back a bit further. There was a lot of turmoil there with the previous king who had to abdicate before that. And yeah, it's an intriguing one. Tom Atherin from the chief executive, Fortnum & Mason's making some 70 at a Jubilee Cup. Okay. You're playing Karol, Mayank, Pujara, Rahani, and Hanuma. So you're adding another, you've got one less bowler there. Who have you taken out? No, that's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're not left at Ashwin. Left at Ashwin, have you? Marvani, you've left at Ashwin. So you're leaving at Ashwin. Pat Cummins for Australian PM. Well, that's a bit much. I don't think he's that intelligent, the guy, actually. Who is your winner for the Under-19 World Cup? I haven't got a clue, Baram. You tell us. Pratiush Ray. Norman, have you watched Spider-Man No Way Home? No, I haven't yet. Is there anybody from cricket playing with it, watching it? No, I'm not sure. So we'll be seeing some sort of a, you would think the BBL pre-game's on, what else is on there? Is there anything? They're not showing any evidence of the India vs South Africa match, but I'm assuming that'll be on. Yeah. So looking at the situation here, got a good interview there from Ross Taylor, actually. Norman is back home. Yes, I am. I'm officially out of isolation. Indonesian ex-batsman for South Africa pitches. Okay, so you're getting rid of them. Okay. How's the COVID situation? It's really bad. Looks like there are outbreak in Villawood. Well, Villawood, of course, the detention centre. Is that what you're saying? I think India will bowl first. This is a spin-friendly pitch, apparently. So whether you want to bowl first, it depends. Can India come hard with Cape Town? Well, the Cape Town ground suits India because it is actually a spin-friendly pitch. So that's an advantage to India. And they have Ashwin in, not out. 4 pace bowls are enough to take wickets, and a spinner is only useless in South Africa. Not necessarily in Cape Town, what I'm hearing. Yeah, so what's the latest discussion? Let's have a look. Got a federal election coming up here in about May. Let's have a look. The match is starting in some 41 minutes. Before I forget, It's the 49th birthday of Rahul, the wall driver. So Rahul driver turns 49 today. Oh, he's getting on. So the questions are around Siraj. It looks as though Anand Vasu's there, and he's showing evidence of the pitch. Has a green cover but nothing else. So the green plastic cover is actually not on the pitch, it's next to the pitch. So do you think Dean Elgar early wicket might collapse to that? Yes, I do. I think Dean Elgar's is unbudgeted cement. Yes, he is. You don't get him out, you're going to have problems. You need to get him out. He's extremely important. That 96 not out in the second innings really won the game for them, because had he gone out, they would have formed like 9 pins, I reckon. So yeah, so Rahul Dravid's 49th birthday. There we go. Happy birthday. Hi, Norman. Happy New Year. Hope you are doing well in Sydney, and congratulations on the Ashes win. Owen, thank you. Well, we won the series 3-0 so far with a draw, and they've got 1 match to go. So yeah, it does look like quite without doubt that Australia won the series. Of course they have. They've not won, they've actually retained the series against. They won 3 straight up, bang, won the series, again, retained the series. Drew in Sydney, which smacks a bit of the Sydney test we had last year with Vihari and Ashwin, who are both in contention for today's match. Then, of course, 5th test, which will be Hobart, but last year the test match that India and Australia play was at the Gabba to win this season, which was the wrong time to play the Gabba. Hobart will be a day-nighter as well, which will make it interesting. It starts on Friday. Today is Tuesday. Yeah. So one of the favourite memories we talk about here was Dravid out for 66 in South Africa in 96-97. I think the best one for me was when he and Vivius Luxman batted fantastically. So it's overcast, apparently. And Anand Vasu, who's a good friend of mine, who's now in South Africa, is telling us that it is, in fact, overcast. So I'm not getting any updates. 38 minutes until the game starts. Of course, we have a situation here where the toss and team selection, which will be pretty much Vihari out, Kohli in, perhaps Umashadov in, Siraj out, and then South Africa will probably go as per program. Interesting. Is Smith and Labuschagne going to Pakistan? You would think so. Nice to see Sean Abbott and Henriques back in the Sixers team. They're both good players. How does red ball perform on Hobart pitches? Well, it's not going to be a red ball. It's going to be a pink ball. It's a day-night match. And swing conditions, well, it certainly will be rather cool, and especially at night, even though it's summer. It's quite blustery down there in Hobart. It's quite a English-friendly wicket, actually, but it's a pink ball, not a red ball as well. Why late? Well, the starting match 2:30 p.m. Australian time, which is 9 a.m. Indian time, and it finishes around, let's say 11, which is 7 p.m. Indian time. Is perfect for India. It's absolutely a perfect timing. 9:10 in the morning till 7 p.m. at night. That's like a normal cricketing day for India. They should be happy. It will allow even the English to be able to watch it slightly better in terms of the ending of the match. But in terms of Australian time, it's probably not the best. So we're not getting any updates at this point. We're not far away. They're 6 minutes away from so-called play, in terms of not play, but in terms of the toss and selection. Kohli is back. He certainly is. I think Hobart has New Zealand-like conditions. It does. It very much does. Let's see what happens here. With Kohli back, even though Coley was not exactly away from the team during that second test, he was sitting around the bench area watching the whole game. But he's present on the field is where it does change. Not getting out any other updates. The live blog. So wake up and smell a decider. That's what we're doing. Wake up and smelling the decider. South Africa versus India, not short of memorable moments, and indeed things are far more grand back in 2013, of course. But yeah, we have a fair degree of interest around the selections, although it won't be overwhelmingly dramatic. Kohli in, Vihari probably out, and then of course Siraj out, and either Umesh Yadav or Ishant Sharma in, and then of course Robert N. you're there, good on you. And I say what he's saying, that very late for about Indian seamers, I guess. If India wins the toss, what should they do? Well, if they're saying it's spin friendly, I'd want to bat second. Sorry, fields bowl second, so bat first. That's the way you would think it would. India should bat first. That's what I would do. As long as they did that last test match, and they only got 200 runs, didn't they? They didn't score many runs, and then South Africa only scored 20 odd more, and then India came and scored 266. But then South Africa seemed to cruise past that 3 or 4 down. So yeah, I think India must bat first. No, Norman, did you see Cody Walker's hair? Yes, it looks a bit strange. Ashwin is the key. I think he should be included and should be in the side. He's 12th ranked bowler in the world. Lyon is now 15th. I think I talked about that last time. The Djokovic saga. Wait and see what happens there. Let's have a look here. We're 3 minutes to the toss, they're saying. Well, all intents and purposes, we should be getting a toss. So let's look at Fox Sport News. I'm talking to Daniel Sams. BBL pre-game. There's no evidence of any live IPL. Not IPL, live South Africa. India, that's unusual. Some Fox News again. Wait and see what they say there. India should be bat first if they win the toss. I would agree with that, especially if they got Spinner in their squad. I'm not getting any updates at this point. With only 2 minutes to spare. Again, it's Rahul Dravid's birthday. His 49th birthday. And he turns 15 next year, which is 23. And he was born in 73, doesn't it? Yeah. 1973. So he's only some 9 years younger than me. There you go. About wobble seam. Yeah, well, wobble seam's always a good. It seems to be the way to go because the batsman can't predict which way it's going. They're knocking the ball. Why New Zealand always plays 2 matches in Test cricket? Great question. Abhinay Kumar, I don't know. They should play more. I think it's just purely and utterly money. 2 matches Test series is 2 less. At least everyone should play minimum of 3. I agree. Especially when you win the first Test, that is Bangladesh, and then get smacked in the second Test by New Zealand, then there's no decider. Seems a bit poor. Hey, hi there, Josh Adam. Did you ever play Shield cricket for New Zealand? No. Sheffield Shield, no. Played Green Shield, which is a younger version, but not Sheffield Shield, no. Green Shield, yeah, with a guy like Brucey Cook, who's Brucey Longbottom, played with him, Normie DeBonus. You don't know these names, so they were great players back in the day. Mark Elson ended up playing rugby league rather than cricket. And Graham Hughes also wanted to play for, New South Wales. He didn't play for Australia, played rugby league in the end. Why New Zealand always plays too much in test? I mentioned that already. I've already mentioned that. There's no reason. It's all about money, I think, and money dictates the whole way. It's not monetarily that important for other teams to play there, which I don't agree with at all. Yeah, it's a very disappointing situation. Can you explain what is grade cricket in Australia? Grade cricket is basically, it's not county cricket. It's below county cricket, but not far below. We have our state level, Sheffield Shield level, which is kind of county, but it's the grade cricket, especially in New South Wales, is probably borderline playing for state. It's playing first grade cricket for, there are some 5 or 6 grades, in fact, in each state. At least not, I can't say in every state, but certainly New South Wales there are. And then the top grade players then play for the state. So they're usually more than 11 good players that play for New South Wales. They're playing for Australia. And those guys play grade cricket. So grade cricket is very close to county, just a bit below county in England. But we do have state level, which is only some 6-7 sides. So it's a bit of an interesting one. But grade cricket in New South Wales is extremely high. For women's cricket, there's virtually harder games than there are playing for the state. Okay, what's happened here? Moving on, Dino reckons that it's South Africa's biggest test in a long, long time. Talking of Elgar, how does one bowl at him? That's the question. So India have chosen to bat. So India won the toss and have chosen to bat. I'll repeat that. India won the toss and have chosen to bat. All right? India won the toss. That's Kohli victory. So India won the toss. Kohli back. India have won the toss and elected to bat, which should really play into their hands, not like the last match where they actually lost batting first. So Kohli's back. India won the toss and elected to bat on what is a spin-friendly pitch. So there we have it. That's a pretty big deal, that is. So it's time for the toss, and India chose to bat. So, so effectively India chose to bat, and you have won the toss and elected to bat. Virat Kohli obviously would be the one making that selection. We'll wait and see now of the actual. And so there we are. The Indian team have won the toss and have elected to bat. Is there any evidence here? No, looking at BBL pre-game. I thought sports. All they're caught up with is the whole discussion around there's no evidence of anything. There's no evidence at all of anything to do with the toss. But yeah, so heads it was heads, and India opted to bat, as I said. India opted to bat, so that's good. So Kohli is winning toss and now elected to bat, which I'm very. The playing 11, I haven't seen it yet. Placed top 3 teams according to this is India, Australia, England, New Zealand. Now that's kind of right. India won the test, one of that, and with two changes, Virat and Gumesh in for Virat. So I've kind of expected that. So Kohli in for Harry, which I feel sorry for him because really the player's playing a lot worse than. So Umesh in for Siraj. Which means, of course, that means, not a great deal of change. And which can do reverse swing. You certainly have the old ball and in swingers Hasli Mohammed has been complete flop. This Ashes with 0-0-6-6-7-9-6. He'll probably be dropped, and you might see Roy Burns return, or you might see Sam Billings come in and Pope come in, and a few of the batters go up, and maybe Crawley might open. Josh Adam Yadav is good replacement rather than Ishant because he's struggling. Well, he's certainly age-wise. There we are. That's some good expected. Scott Boland is doing what Jofra Archer as well. Not quite. He's not quite that good, but statistically, he is at the moment. So at this point in time, we have a community page which shows Kohli in for Vihari, Umesh in for Siraj, Kohli back in there, won the toss and elected to bat. Called heads as we're hearing. If I'm being honest with you, the BBL is boring as hell. I want England to try it. Brent Folks, Sam Livingston and Vince all have good techniques, and Root shouldn't be captain. Yeah, that may happen next series. It's 99th test for Virat. That's true. He wants his 100th at home, obviously. Steve Waugh was surprised to see Crawley not getting runs even after having good technique. Yeah, well, he'll go well, don't worry. Butler should only focus on white ball. Yeah. Do you reckon Harris will miss the fifth? It's definitely. Zumpaja opening with Travis at 5. Yes, definitely. That's my thoughts on that one. Very little doubt about those positions. It's been bashed out of this. So Virat Kohli has said he can't control what is above your head. Pitch has grass. We understand that. Runs on the board has worked out well. We need to put runs on the board and then utilise the skills of our bowlers after that. Luckily, my spasm healed in about 3 days. Gutted it happened before the morning of the previous game. Fit and fine now. I come in for Vihari. Sorry, misses out with a niggle. Umesh comes in as it was a tough decision between Ishant and Umesh. Umesh is bowling amazingly well, and we've got a great bench strength. So there we go. So Virat's named his side, but I haven't yet to see the South African teams. Not expecting any changes though from the South African team. And they had to bowl first in South Africa to get easier. Well, if there's a spinning pitch to the last days of the test, well, they got the spinner as an Ashwin to do it. How different was Australian bowling compared with Stark, Cummins, and Hazelwood? Well, Bowler's military medium. He's very steady, very accurate. He's not necessarily fast as Stark or Cummins, or even for Hazelwood for that matter. And they've all three got great histories of Stark 270, Cummins 170. I think he's got test-wise, and Hazelwood's got well over 200 now as well. Boland certainly has now got the best average of any bowler over so many wickets ever. So that's quite a thing to have achieved already. So Boland will probably get another go, as long as he's fit, and that's the difference. Ross Taylor signs off from Test cricket in style. He was a little lobby off-spinner, bowls a bit widely off stuff, and the batsman tries to drag him up and went straight up in the air. And Latham there, he took six catches, actually. Took the catch, so he got 6 catches, and he got 250-plus runs. Boland and Nisa are good bowlers, aren't they? They certainly are. Whether Jai Richardson's fitting might be in there ahead of Nisa. The BBL is literally boring. I agree. Ross Taylor bowled the last ball he see that was quite cute. Very, very cute. BBL's excruciatingly boring. I prefer to watch Test cricket any day. Do you think Ollie Pope is overrated? It's hard to say whether he's overrated, but he hasn't performed at the level he should have so far. Sometimes I feel old players do well. They are more battle-hardened and experienced. I would agree. Milan. Sam is around 30. What, Sam Billings? I don't know how old he is. All have played, and I think youngsters do take some time to get their peak. Yeah. What's happened to England's test team? Well, I think they found that Crawley is an opener now, and Hamid's unfortunately not worked either. So you've got to find an opening pair to work with Crawley. Is that going to be Johnny Bairstow? I'm arguing it should be Johnny Bairstow. Do you think Carey will be the long-term keeper for Australia? Well, he did muff a few catches in the last few tests, despite having a great start with some 8 catches. His batting hasn't quite got there yet. He hasn't got that oomph yet. He'll be put in there for an indefinite period. Tim Payne's not coming back. Josh Inglis, you would argue, has to be considered at some stage, but we'll see. But yeah, Alex Carey's got the early running. See how he goes in the subcontinent. It'll test him as well. Talking to Ross Taylor there at Hagley. I love Hagley over there in Christchurch. I've been there a few times during the World Cup. Great to watch. So Scott Boland is in doubt for the final test in Hobart, is what they're saying. The Indian-Australia series will decide 1 or 2 finalists for all sorts of teams. Looking forward to that one. Well, when that comes up, do you think India tour of South Africa successfully completed without any COVID break? Well, it's going close. It's pretty close to that, isn't it? The one thing about having younger guys, they don't have come with scars. Guys like me have had a bit too. We're unchanged. So South Africa are unchanged. Okay, so South Africa is unchanged. We had the Dean Elgar confirmation. So because Kohli's back, Pahari's out. So Siraj Nigel is out with Umesh Yadav in, and they're not losing him in there. He's a real gun little player, that one, I'll tell you. There we are. So there we have it. An unchanged South African side. A Indian side only changed because Kohli came back in, which is, I think, a benefit for India for sure. And Siraj out, Umesh Yadav will only do as good as he'll do very well as well. So do you think the Generation Australia Test team crumbled when they opponent shows resistance to crunch situations? Well, they haven't had enough of that testing, but yeah, they're going to test them. India did it last season. Subhi Ajit Pradhan, a good headache for Australia to have regarding the Khawaja head Harris. It is, but Harris has got to go. Carey needs a good performance in Hobart. He does. South African players retiring early, especially senior players who need to guide the new players. It was an element they're going with, obviously, with de Kock now and AB de Villiers, Umla, a whole lot there. Present COVID condition in your country is not good. Omicron has gone bananas. We've got 20, 30, 40,000 in every state. Probably about 1 million that I've got at the moment as we speak. I have been one of them. I've had it for about a week or so now. I was allowed to go out of isolation today, and effectively now I'm waiting on the result of my last test, which was yesterday. And if that's negative, well, then I'm free to do everything normal. India heavily missed Kohli in the second test. Well, they did, even though he was physically in the dressing room because he was not far from the group. He wasn't on the field. It's true. Some of the horn there on the Gold Coast. What's going on there? The test match.
It was a magic morning for Magic Millions festivities on the Gold Coast. Hundreds gathered on the surface paradise beach. With the sand become a home straight. These retired thoroughbreds were reliving their glory days before the barriers were drawn. Saturday's Magic Millions Classic and Guineas for 3-year-olds, both with prize money of $2 million. 14-year-old come out and he's got pretty good gate speed, so I don't think it'll be too much of a problem.
Some crazy things that people watch on. Daryl Braithwaite, you wouldn't know who he is, but he's a singer. He's 73. Oh, God, that's not young. Why there can't be 2 coaches? There are 2 captains for red and white ball. Well, I kind of see what you're saying. Coach is meant to oversee everything, though. Rapid home tests are Sydney case will go through the roof once they will. But I don't even know where you get these damn bloody tests anyway. There's good old Magic Millions owner. What's his name? Jerry Harvey. Why Bhuveshwar is not taking contest series? He was a good bowler last time. Well, they've only got so many positions, I guess. They can't put him. Everyone, Bhuveshwar has certainly proven to be more a regular, player in that position. So we've got, how long we got now? We've got some. It's the 73rd birthday of 49th birthday of Rahul Dravid, 73rd birthday of another person who Pujara is a player that I'm not really sure what they're going to do with him. They're going to eventually have to start to think about not selecting him. So we've got now some 15 minutes before the game starts. India are batting. So Agarwal and Rahul will obviously be opening. Good opening part. Haven't got Shubman Gill, haven't got Robert Sharma there, but they've got people like Agarwal and Robert who can all do very well. So Rahul Dravid had a bit of a chat too, and he said, "It's nice wishes from friends, family. Thanks everyone. It's a good reminder. Defending sort of 240 in the last series. You think it's pretty good. We should have done better than that. Yep. He thinks they'll do it. 3 for 272 was too big emphatic victory by South Africa. India has to bowl better. Am I going to watch the whole match? I hope so. I went to the cinema today and a lot of empty shells everywhere. Yeah. Roshan Singh, a few words on Ross Taylor's career. Ross Taylor was the most prolific batsman for New Zealand. He has the leading number of runs, I think 7,600 odd runs. He's ahead of Steve Fleming and Kane Williamson as it stands now. Was also by 2,000 or 3,000 ahead of everybody else when you combine Test cricket and ODIs. That combination of Test, ODI, and T20s, he was a leader in all three formats. Ross Taylor scored 13 to 14,000 runs. He's, as I said, close to 3,000 more than anyone else in New Zealand cricket. Incredible play, can even bowl. Took the last wicket today. Great little captain at certain points. Very calm-headed, very well liked. Incredible batsman. Scotland was scoring 290. I think it was against Australia. He batted well. He's done very well. I remember a number of times against Australia, which was not easy to do. His ODI and T20 cricket was magnificent. So he was an all-round incredible player. Sadly missed both New Zealand and world cricket. Compare Devon Conway to Williamson, you can't. Williamson is by far and away better at this point in time. Conway's had a great start. Let's talk in about 3 or 4 years' time. Devon Conway's certainly started with a blast, as has Labuschagne. But whether their Smith and Williamson capabilities are there, I wouldn't say so. Yeah, that 290 from Ross Taylor was incredible. That was against Australia, wasn't it? I'm thinking it was against Australia. I can't remember now. Yeah, so Rahul Dravid was another player who we should celebrate today being his 49th birthday. He looked fantastic, and he certainly did well in Test cricket with that amazing batting performance with he and VVS Laxman. Amazing. Some great performances there as well. We haven't got any of the cricket being shown here. And I guess they'll show it later. The BBL, oh God, not a BBL fan. Yeah, so we might see more cricket live on the blowers. So yeah, Rahul Dravid chatted about his 49th birthday. India are batting. They won the toss and batted in what is now, how long it'll be, 12 minutes time. India will bat first. That means bowl second and bowl last. And apparently this is a spinning pitch, so it should suit them. I think the day-night test match has attached many audiences into test cricket. Attracted? No, I think it has, yes. Do you think England will still take Anderson Broad? Yeah, I think so. What about Australian tour of South Africa that got cancelled last year? Well, good question. It should have been played sometime this year, but there's been no word to that. Australia playing Pakistan, and they're also playing Sri Lanka later on. And they've got the World Cup, and they've got their home series, so it's going to be very hard to fit it in. And, of course, England and India have to play one test at some stage sometime in July as well, which was meant to happen last year, which I found very frustrating that it's been hung over till now. Interestingly, we watched the whole Bangladesh-New Zealand match, but we're not watching the whole match between, at least at this stage, India and South Africa. Australia have never lost a day-night test match Oh, there's always a first time, isn't there? You'd think that Australia won't lose this last match. Yes. We'll wait and see. See how Ben Stokes pulls up. See how Johnny Bairstow. We know that Butler's out for sure, and probably Sam Billings will take his place. There's a whole lot of gridiron being played in America now, all different levels of playoffs. Quite interesting. I'm quite frustrated I can't watch any live cricket here between India and South Africa. They may show a bit later. So they do. Was Bangladesh's last win versus New Zealand a fluke? No, it wasn't a fluke. New Zealand was just outplayed. They woke up to themselves, but they're not a bad side. Well, Boland's been talked about being in doubt. Not that he's not playing, but the fact that they're talking about it this early out is a bit unusual. But it's the 11th, it's on the 14th, which is only, 2-3 days away. They're showing some highlights now. Djokovic hitting out in the court ahead of the Australian Open. He's out there on the nets. He still hasn't got anything official. He's allowed to be free from that place. They may have to let him go now. He'll be the only person in the venue that will be not double vaxxed, because everyone who is double vaxxed are going to be in, but anyone not can't come. So how come a player who's not double vaxxed is allowed to play in front of everybody, but someone who's not double vaxxed can't watch? It's a bit of an inconsistency. Is Boland's selection a political and considering his roots? No, I don't think so. What do you think about a whole test match series in day and night matches? Could well happen one day. Kind of like a day-night match in ODI or T20. It happens now already, doesn't it? So we're very, very, very close to a start here with some 9 minutes to go. India will bat first, and obviously Rahul, Dravid and Agarwal will get off to a good start, as they normally do. India have to get a big score, 300 to 350 plus, and then really put the pressure on South Africa. That's what they're going to do. And you can do that when you bat first. You can put a big score on and put pressure on. You can't afford to be late for 202 as they were in the first match. What's your favourite rivalry? Well, it's always been Australia versus England. I think my Australia versus West Indies in the day. India Pakistan is also interesting. Yeah. As India, as Foxborough, at the moment they're not. They probably will later on in the match, but not at the moment. Not seeing any evidence of BBL's Renegades versus Sixers. Who gives a? No, they're interviewing people about Djokovic that's taken over. Maybe that they could use a white ball in the day-night test match one day. Well, they're saying the pink ball's a better ball. I don't know really why. Doesn't look like Foxes at this moment in time. We got the women's AFL. Super Bowl at the darts show footy. They really should be playing this match. But they got Renegades versus Sixers. Maybe after that they'll show up. Pink ball is good, you reckon? Okay. You think BBL season goes for ages? It does. It's way too long. Isn't BBL lost fan base with unavailable key players in recent? Yes, it has. It's just waning. It's something. It's really struggling. England players, I think, have almost all gone back now. Australian players aren't really available. Is the money enough for the players? Maybe not. Doesn't really attract as many big players as it used to. Quite disappointing, actually. So we've still got some 6 minutes before the start of play. Novak Djokovic there, who had the Grand Slam before. He's won this Grand Slam many, many times. But that doesn't give him more automatic entry to play, I must be honest. But I'd say that it'll be pretty unusual for them not to let him play now. Also tourism. If he wins his 21st Grand Slam, which puts him above Federer and above Nadal, who are both, I believe, on 20. Yeah, it's a very frustrating thing for Djokovic, yes, but he's also on plenty as well. Maybe Nadal will be happy if he doesn't come and win. And also, Federer is obviously finished now. Yeah. So looking at less than 5 minutes now. Playing 11s. We've got that up there. Yeah. So just to confirm the Indian, you need a coffee, mate. I do. You're totally right. It's a bit on the side. Who's your favourite, Federer or Djokovic? Mine is Nadal. Mine's actually Federer, actually, to be honest. Not a big Djokovic fan, to be honest, which I shouldn't be admitting to that, but I'm not. I prefer Nadal. Federer versus Nadal was always a more welcoming type of match to watch. Okay, let's have a look at the teams then. KO Rahul and Agarwal will open the batting. Pujara at 3, Kohli at 4, Rahane 5, Punt still there at 6. Ashwin, big time player for this match. Ashwin at 7. Shardul Thakur, my standout for the last few matches, 8. Shami, Bumrah, and Ilmesh Yadav. There's the 11. And the South African 11, which I never liked South Africa, to be honest. I respected Amla and Avi de Villiers, but Danny Elgar I do have lots of time for, but Aidan Markham was not bad. Keegan Peterson, very little to get excited about there. No, there's no changes in today's eyesight. There's no changes in the South African lineup. They've gone with Elgar, Markram, Peterson, Keegan Peterson, that is. Rusty van der Dusen, who's bloody overrated. Temba Bavuma, who's not as good as they think. And then we've got Kyle Verreynne, who's the replacement keeper for Quinton de Kock, a very good player. Marco Jensen's had a pretty good start. Rabada, we know how good he is. Maharaj, not a bad spinner, not a bad bat. Dwayne, I love it, pretty ordinary to me. And the Giddy. I would have loved to have seen Norgay back in the team, but that hasn't happened yet. So, yeah, again, Elgar, Markram, Van der Dusen with Peterson, Buvuma, Bahrain, the keeper, Jansen, Rabada, Maharaj, Oliver, and Nagidi. With India only changing Kohli in for Vihari and Umashadov coming in for Siraj. No Ishant Sharma. That spells the end, I think, for Ishant Sharma. So South Africa, yet again, have not had any changes. So we're now 2 minutes. The players should be walking out in the field. It's time for the anthems. Yeah, so they're out there for the anthems now. Is Markham a promising cricketer? I think he is. Can he take cricket to South Africa forward? What you'll take? Well, he's certainly got talent, yes. Wonder if Kohli will score a century finally, Paul Newman. Well, his captaincy's been worth his weight in gold. Let's not forget that. So I'm not going to take away from that. So we've got anthems there. The players about to start. South African batters will be all padded up. No broadcast of this, which no, they're not showing anything at the moment. Oh no, yes, I'll take it back. This we have got live coverage, guys. Kageza Rabada's got the ball in his hands, so we have live. If you go to what channel is it? It's 505 on Foxtel. 505 on Foxtel has live broadcast with the Betway logos in the background. They're down with the one, I think, what Black Lives Matter thing. Elgar has got his fist up. It's interesting. Elgar has not got his fist up. He's the captain of South Africa. He hasn't got his fist up. It doesn't matter. I shouldn't be judgmental. Have you been to Newlands? Yes. Bavuma is just a nuggety player. He's not raised to any great heights. A captain for a little while. He's not a captain. Rahul. Newlands. Not Wanderers, Newlands. So he's Rahul's 29 years of age, 43 matches, 73 innings, 2.525 is his runs, average is 36.07. He needs to lift that. 1350s, 700s, best 199 versus England in 2016. So he's got 7th centuries. He's 30. He's got to get up over 40 to start making him worth it. But he's been given a bit of a stuff run. So yeah, he's a future captain of India. So is Rohit. So there's some interesting. So here we are. So Rahul's facing him. Mayank Agarwal, 30 years of age. So he's actually a year older than. I think he's a year older than Rahul. 19 matches. That was very quick. Kigizo Rabada, 26 years of age, already taken a truckload of wickets. I'll show you stats. Rabada's coming in the bowl now at the Weinberg end, 6-gun grill Newlands. Straight under the pads. 6-gun grill Newlands. 6-gun grill, must be an advert. Newlands, Cape Town. Rabada's already played 50 test matches and has 226 wickets, averaging 22.5, so magnificent. 10 5-wicket hauls, 4 10-wicket hauls. Now, that's pretty impressive, isn't it, for a 26-year-old? He hasn't just come onto the scene, has he? Well, Rahul's just driven it down past mid-on for a couple. Surprise for Green Top and Hobart, probably will be. Who is the best opening pair for India according to your present players? Best, well, I mean, I really liked when I've forgotten their names now. Left-hand, right-hand combination when they were in form. Come, tell me the names. Left-hand, right-hand back. Murali, I think it was Murali. And the other batter was the left-hander. God, I can't figure that out. Tell me, come on, guys. You tell me who those names are. The left-hand batter for India, and still playing short form of the game. And Murali. Savag was also good. Yes, he was very good. But we're talking more modern, more recent era. Virender Sehwag was magnificent. Come on, guys. Tell me the left-hand, right-hand combination I'm thinking of. Shikhar Dhawan, correct? Shikhar Dhawan and Murali. Murali V. Tail. I can't remember his name now. Shikhar Dhawan certainly was good. That was a good combination. Rabada's already taken well over 200 wickets and he's only had 50 tests. My heavens, he's going to hit for big numbers by the time his career finishes. He's only 26 if he keeps fit. Murali, Vijay, and Shikhar Dhawan. That's the two I'm thinking of. Or more recent times we're talking about. But then Virender Sehwag, amazing. I mean, Dravid wasn't an opener, but and Viva Saxman weren't openers, but they were great batters as well. Ganguly didn't really open. Beautiful bowling from Rabada. Another one that's beat the bat. So Rahul's on 2, Mayank's on nothing, none for 6 after the first over. So Rahul, Mayank, Agarwal, Pujara, Kohli is captain, Rahane, Pant, Ashwin, Thakur, Umesh, Shami, and Bumrah. Yet again, they're not showing who the vice captain is. I'm going to guess and say it's Rahul because he was captain last test. Rahul, 43 test matches, Mayank, 19. Pujara, 95. Kohli, 99. Rahane, 82. Pant, 28. Ashwin, 84. Thakur, only 7. Umesh, 52. Shami, 57. And Bumrah, 27. Very experienced lineup there with Mayank and Thakur the least numbers. I do have Jim Maxwell very often live, but I think he's getting older and he can't be on as much as he would like to. Anderson and Broad will continue probably at least until the next summer. Or maybe longer, depends on how fit Anderson feels. Who will then push Broad. Yard was a good selection. I'm very happy about that. This is a good pace attack. This is Oliver, guys, getting the chance to open the bowling. 129 kilometres per hour is not very fast. Shuttlecock was in the test scene now, and Hardik Pandya is gone. Hardik Pandya will have to stick to his IPL and make a lot of money. Anderson will retire when he passes the launch record. I think you're right. Dwayne Oliver's played 12 matches. He's only 129 kilometres per hour. That's not an opening bowling pace. Like Agarwal. Very impressed with him. Yeah, we'll see how things go. Where is Jofra Archer? Still injured? Well, he's recovering from third operations on his elbow, which is a chronic injury. Hang on a second. Ice cream? I'm going to get ice cream. It's 1 for 6 in the second over here. This Demine, I can't get too excited about it, to be honest with you. Can't see the beauty of the background of Cape Town, New Zealand's there, because it's a bit overcast. It's Dwayne Oliver. I mean, less than 130 Ks is not an opening bowling pace. I think I'm out of isolation. Well, yes. You think anyone will ever pass Morley's record? No. $130 Ks is way too slow. South African teams on change. It's pretty, fulfilling for them. We're showing the clouds over Tabletop Mountain. Still look picturesque with the mountains, but you can't see the top. Seem to have a bit of a stayed picture here. Seem to have a bit of a block picture. So 2 overs have gone on for 6. The Rahul, he's actually just hit a single of the third over. Summer in England or holiday in South Africa? What would I prefer? Oh, both, really. Excuse me. Back on. Now, everybody. So, we're straight through the betting, isn't it? It does look like South Africa. It's showing they're obviously behind their live. So Arwell's on 2, Rahul's on 3, and for 9 into the third over. Six Gun Grills, obviously a restaurant chain. A lot of clouds over the mountains. We come live during lunch or tea. Probably not. Rabada's bowling exceptionally well today. None for 7. Well, none for 9, actually. Rabada's an amazing bowler. Have you met all the current Australian tennis players in person? Yes. Oh, they did functions. They make them also in the streets of Sydney. The grounds. Scotty Boland, I don't think I've met Scott Boland. Stark, yes, many times. It wasn't a drop catch, but it was. A lot of the older players I met, certainly. So none for 9 into the 4th over now. These two are very important. These two are going to do very, very well. Rabada, guess what a player. Incredible bowler. Really is up there. One day series against New Zealand will be interesting to watch. Between Australia and New Zealand. Yeah. I was getting a bit of an edge there, but not much. Peterson dropping. He did get a hand on it. It was a difficult catch. Coley's sitting there. The 49-year-old Dravid there. Ashwin's there. Big comfy seats. Rahul's been rather conservative. We're going up when I hit the bat first, so I don't think I'm doing it. And this Dwayne's not getting more than 129, 130, 131 clicks. It's not very fast. I need a drink, guys. It's way too hot here at the moment. Well, Mark would play at Hobart. I think Wood, Anderson, Broad's the last test of the series. Why wouldn't they play? I think they will play. You know, not much of the series to go. You put your best effort in, and that's the end of it. So why wouldn't you play? So I think Wood, Anderson, and Broad will probably all bowl. I think the only England change, well, can be possibly without Ben Stokes. So they have to put their best bowlers in. It's a very unusual looking South African side. So many new players. Leach will play as well, you're right. The new keeper, Peterson, Van Dusen, there's Oliver. A lot of players which I'm not getting a great feel about. They're not necessarily world beaters. There's Varane. I have no idea who he is. Saw him play last match. He seemed to bat okay. None for 9 after 4 overs, fairly steady going here from India. And now none for 14 with Argyle on 7. Into the 5th over. It's apple juice. Apple juice. Beautiful setting. They're showing the greater aspect. So the South African side has Elgar, Markram, this Peterson, Van der Dusen, Bavuma, Varane, Jansen, Rabada, Maharaj, Olivia, and Nagidi. I can't get too excited about Olivia. So Elgar 72, Markram 29, Peterson 5, almost a handful between the rest of them. I'm also speaking of that, but the beat in the field, I should say, and it's gone to the boundary. Danny Elgar's not happy with fielding effort there. It wasn't the best of fielding, that's for sure. It's a bit better. All right, guys. We might stop it there. This is a pretty good start. Any more questions? You're not asking any more questions, so I guess the interest is starting to wane a bit. It's a hot night, and not much going on here. Doesn't look like there's any wickets falling anytime soon, which is a good thing for India. They're none for 15 into the 5th over. Good start from Rahul and Mayak, as you would always expect them to do. These two guys have always been great. Good, I should say. And look like the future of Indian batting. Obviously, got Gill and Rohit Sharma as well, who were the opening pair against Australia. Great depth India have in their batting line. Oh, phenomenal depth. But going back to the Ahmedabad, I think it's Ahmedabad, isn't it? They have selected to have Hardik Pandya as their captain. So he's settling on his IPL career there and then. Because his test career days are numbered now, or they're finished. Shardul Thakur's taken over. All right, guys. We have India batting first, having won the toss, flipped heads. Virat Kohli selected himself back in the side. So the first test was won by 130 runs by India. South Africa won the second test by 7 wickets. And the 6-gun Grill Newlands test match here in Cape Town is from the 11th of January, the 15th. The Betway test series between Kohli and Elgar. Elgar does well, South Africa do well. It's as simple as that. Rabada's a very important cog as well. So I'll try and do this every day during the test. Of course, the 5th Ashes test comes up in Hobart later in the week as well. Last game match summary, Rahul scored 123 within 52. That was the first test. And then punt 34. And the Elgar got 77, but they lost the match by 11 on 113 runs. But the second test, Elgar's 77 turned into a 96 not out. And they actually won that, which we'll go through in a minute. So the first test, India 327, South Africa 197, a big difference in the starting point. India 174, then South Africa all out for 191. So they didn't score more than 200 in both South African innings. So, yeah, that's a pretty emphatic win by India there. India have to get a big score. Let's hope when we come back tomorrow, India will have scored 350. That's what we're expecting. Rabada to Agarwal here in replay. Yeah, fair bit of it. Well played. Let it go. Well, pulled nicely, and it's going the way the boundary there, but it'll be only the 1, I think. Going with Puranjay's here. I'm not going to say much longer though. Gaming with Puranjay because it's now reached the hour and 18-minute mark. The broadcast, and there's no wickets falling yet. None for 20s to start. Agarwal's looking particularly good actually. He's driven nicely and he's going to get a 4 over here. Yeah, he got 4. Yep, that's 4. Agarwal looking very solid, to be honest. Olivia's not fast at all. It's just a straight bat in front. Off it went. Agarwal's a good bat. How many test runs has Agarwal scored now? He's got 1,407 after 18 test matches, and he's 19th now. He's done okay. Average batting was 45. Nothing wrong with that. Give him a fair go, I think. All right, guys. So if you like and share the post, we'll come back tomorrow. We'll watch more. Hopefully, it'll be an interesting development in this match. So thanks for joining me. The first day, India won the toss, elected to bat. Of course, they flipped heads. Kohli's back in. Vihari out. Siraj out due to injury. And then Umesh Yadav in the South African side are unchanged. Their winning match last time, so we'll talk more tomorrow.